Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, we're going to talk about the two major returns, not Kane, on last night's episode of Raw.
We have a heel turn and a name change on last night's Raw, all rolled into one.
It's official, WrestleMania Backlash is Rematch City.
And I'll tell you who Vince McMahon thinks is a young John Cena. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm sorry, Kane.
And this is the news.
I'm not really sorry, Kane. He's rich, he can take it. Anyway,
and I've seen some of his takes as well.
Absolutely. Let's kick things off by talking about the two returns from last night's episode of Raw. We're not going to go into too much detail on these because we did that yesterday when we covered the Fightful report stating that these two people were probably coming back.
When we correctly predicted them, Andy Murray.
Oh yes, of course. We came up with that story ourselves.
Never been wrong, bitches.
Of course, right. Shout out to Sean Rossap for getting the scoop.
Hey,
but,
no crap. Just that.
Asuka and Mustafa Ali were the two wrestlers who came back on last night's Raw. As pinpointed in the original Fightful story, Asuka entered a program with Becky Lynch. She confronted her in the ring. Becky bailed. They're gonna feud. That's gonna be a whole deal. It was Asuka's first appearance since July.
Wow.
Time off, injuries, surgery, dental procedures, all kinds of things going on with her. But she's back now, and that's good.
Yes.
Mustafa Ali's back as well.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the bigger surprise considering he asked for his release in January. They said no. He'd been off TV since October. He'd lost like his previous 9 matches or something like that. He's just getting jobbed out all over the place.
Not anymore though. Now he's got a big victory over a former WWE champion.
That's good marketing there,
Yeah,
brother.
you go.
But yeah, he came back. It was Miz TV with Miz, obviously, and Theory. They referenced what had been going on with Mustafa before they booked Ali versus The Miz. Ali won, of course, and that actually leads into our second story here. But yeah, there you go. Asuka and Ali back on TV. Freshens Raw up a bit. It was an eventful Raw.
Yeah,
and I think eventful is often better than... I'll take a kind of okay eventful Raw like last night's over a relatively good uneventful one.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really enjoyed last night's Raw. It for me, I came this and said this in the office this morning. It felt like the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You had that mad sort of 8-man at the end of the night. Granted, normally on the Raw after WrestleMania you have to reintroduce people like Cody Rhodes and Elias's younger brother Ezekiel, of course.
Yes.
But there was that. And then there was just loads of returns. I mean, technically, you had Becky Lynch returning as well for the first time since she lost that Raw Women's Championship. She got all emotional. Kane, who got a mixed reaction. It was all good stuff. And there was technically, I will point out, Andy Murray, what if you don't clamp 24/7 bollocks, which who does, 3 title matches on last night's show.
Yep.
I mean, they're all the Raw Women's Championship, and they all were won by Bianca Belair, but still counts. Still technically counts. I really enjoyed last night's Raw.
Yeah, like as a content creator, you just want stuff to happen, don't you?
Oh,
Lots
yes.
of stuff happened on the show, so have fun on the podcast.
Yeah, we all do. WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from. We're going to be reviewing it later on today, including a moment you referenced earlier after Mustafa Ali returned and beat Miz, and he was walking up the ramp celebrating. He was jumped by a man turning heel and changing his name on the same damn night. Ciampa! That's right, the former NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa now seemingly goes under the name Ciampa, and he's a baddie. This is all according to TVA Sports Quebec's Kevin Raphael. There you go.
Okay.
And he's going to be called Ciampa from now on. And I thought it was quite conspicuous, is the right word, I'm not sure. They cut immediately from Ciampa to Rhea Ripley in and amongst around the same time that they had the new Edge and a Christian stable with Edge and Damian Priest.
The Blue Man Group coming together nicely.
I will point out, anyone watching this video rather than listening to the news podcast, it was going to be all purple, but that light only. I think the Fiend controls that light. It's either red or off.
It's
So
that's the only 2 modes the Fiend has.
Yes,
red
exactly.
and off. That's what his gloves say.
Speaking of the Fiend, stick around for today's and finally we got something special for you.
Oh boy, do we ever. Turning heel, chop the forename. It's on par with recent stuff. We spoke yesterday about how Vince was going to turn a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Here's a dude who did a bunch of turns. Forename now. That's in line with what they've been doing recently to get rid of.
No point getting angry about it.
Yeah, it's just what they're going to do, and we'll be used to Ciampa within just Ciampa. We'll be used to it next week. It's fine. It's not like they called him, I don't know, Sausage.
Chomp.
Chomp.
Oh, God, I love a chomp. Who wants to send us a chomp?
Those probably cost about 70p these days.
Don't get me started.
Bloody economics. Right, WrestleMania Backlash. It's rematches, right? It's just rematches. This is WWE's next premium live event. It takes place on the 8th, next weekend, next Sunday, the 8th of May.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the one. And we got the latest rematch. Pardon me. We got the latest rematch added on last night's show. So that's Bobby Lashley versus Omos.
Of course.
Bit of a different dynamic this time around, I guess, because Omos has MVP by his side now, which has been the ongoing storyline. But they had an arm wrestling match,
as you do,
which Bobby won,
and we'll do 20 million views on WWE's YouTube channel.
Almost certainly, arm wrestling matches and weddings. Just
do
fantastic
numbers
stuff. But yeah, that's been added to the card, and it means that 4 of the 6 matches now are just rematches. Cody versus Seth Rollins, obviously. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey, I Quit match. AJ versus Edge, and Bobby versus Omos. The 2 matches that are not rematches are RK Bro and the Usos, winner take all unification station thing, and Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. So yeah, there you go. It's what they do after. You're gonna do a thing. It's what they do after WrestleMania, isn't it? Like it's not high gear programming. So if you're not into rematches, maybe not the most essential premium live.
Well, you say that, Andy Murray, but I have a question for you.
Oh, God.
Is this going to be the best WrestleMania Backlash ever? The last one had zombies. This has to be better.
I mean, I take zombies over.
No, I really like zombies. The I Quit match, I genuinely think is going to be absolutely sensational. Watching Cody versus Seth again is like, I know they did everything in that first match, but I'm like, okay. It's like, oh, do you want a steak with tea again tonight? Yes, please.
My thing with the Cody versus Seth thing is like, how could it possibly be any better? So it's like, it's going to be diminishing returns because that match, that WrestleMania match was so perfect for what it was. It's just like, although don't get me wrong, it'll be good, but it's like, come on, we've already seen this kind of peak. I'd love to be proven wrong. I'd love for it to be better. I just don't see it that way. And like Charlotte versus Rousey, like theoretically, like it's good, but the WrestleMania match was really clunky.
Yeah, see, I quite enjoyed the WrestleMania
You were
match.
in the building.
Yeah, so I may not have...
Exactly. Like, you were
I thought it was a proper scrap. You know, like some people...
It was scrappy.
Some people didn't like... Some people did like, and some people didn't like the Marina Shafir match from Dynamite a couple of weeks back. And some people said, oh, that was a real sense of it being a scrap.
Who liked that?
I saw people saying this online.
Okay.
Some people said, oh, it's a real scrap. And I was like, oh, I thought it looked really botchy. Yeah. So it's one of those where, I don't know, but I think the I Quit stipulation is a really good addition to this. And just, a good way of... you can have the Ronda moment that she had with Steph, where she's like, are you ready? I'm going to break your arm now. And then you're like, oh my God, I quit.
Could you not have done that at Mania, though?
No, but to be fair, yes, probably.
It's just lazy. We shouldn't make excuses.
But no,
for
I
laziness.
thought I think the way they extended the feud is actually really quite good.
The feud is good.
Yes,
but WrestleMania is
going to be the best WrestleMania Backlash ever. Guys.
WrestleMania is supposed to be the big event. Can we not blow stuff off on that show?
Oh, I agree, 100%. Well, get ready, Andy Murray, for a major push for Theory. He's already, of course, US champion. I thought that the gimmick with Miz on the last night's Raw was actually really good. They're both just terrible, just unbearable people. Yeah. But according to WrestleVotes, Theory has got even bigger things in his future. Them reporting that Vince McMahon sees Theory as a, quote, young John Cena, and now he plans to, quote, give the kid everything he needs to be successful. No great surprises here. He's not going to take someone under his wing on camera and berate them and then do a match and around them at WrestleMania and all that bollocks if he hadn't got big plans for them. And it's exciting, and I think, Theory has phenomenal potential.
The moment I saw Austin Theory, I think his first Evolve match was in 2017. It was against Darby Allin anyway, but the moment I first saw this guy, I figured this guy's going to be a major push in WWE in about 5 years, and here we are.
Yeah.
It's how he's modeled his whole style. He's bulked up over the years. He's added charisma to his act. He's refined certain things that are very suited to this sports entertainment environment. So, yeah, I mean, I get worried when I hear things like the next John Cena because, one, I think it's always a cursed comparison to go. Like, the Gable Stevenson
Kurt Angle
comparison is immediately mental and crazy.
There's a huge weight to put around your neck.
And will ruin that guy's career if he doesn't live up to it. Also, the thing with a John Cena push is that we forget it a little bit now that John Cena, when he comes back, is just like, oh, it's John, he's back. This is cool. We haven't seen him in ages. That push was murder for years, so I hope they don't repeat that. But he's clearly someone that Vince sees a lot in, and I think in terms of his presentation and what he does, his skills, he's perfectly suited to this company.
Exactly. I remember seeing him, I think, on one of the takeovers, you know, like they usually do, of like, oh, look who's sat here at ringside, is our latest signing. And I can't remember if he spoke on camera then or subsequent to that, but the first time I heard from him, I thought, oh, he's a bellend.
Yeah.
He'll fit right in.
He's a good WWE style heel, isn't he?
Exactly. Right, let's move on to your Twitter questions at WhatCulture WWE. Of course, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Jonathan Johnson, who says, hello, King of the Mic.
Oh, twice in one video, John. Why did you do that? Why?
And my favourite WhatCulture crew. Now that Asuka has returned to Raw, do you think Bayley will be next to return on SmackDown this week or next?
Certainly soon. Reports were that her injury would hopefully be cleared up by like March. It's now April. It'll be May by this weekend. Yeah, I would expect her back imminently. As long as she's fully healed, of course. But programming could use her. She's been gone ages.
Yeah.
I miss her. I think she'd be a great addition to. And yeah, SmackDown makes more sense.
Yes, and I think. Oh, I was going to say that SmackDown after Thingy makes sense, after WrestleMania Backlash makes sense. But then I don't want her to feud immediately with Ronda.
Yeah. I don't know. She'll pad out some other.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe her and Lacey Evans or someone. They seem to be putting a bit.
Yeah, but I want babyface Bayley a little bit back.
Yeah. But
she's gonna get a huge bad
babyface, but still kind of a smart arse. That'd be good. Like a combo, not like hugging and all that.
Yeah,
like,
you got to strike that balance now, haven't you? You can't have the never been pissed Bayley.
Got the wacky arm guys. They're back. They've been anti-chopped.
Danny Navarro, but yes, hopefully we see her back very soon, Jonathan. Danny Navarro gives us our second question of the day. Says, lads, with AEW's affinity and history with Chicago, and with Forbidden Door, of course, coming up, do you think the United Center could be soon akin to their MSG?
Ooh, very interesting. I can see it becoming a building that they become synonymous with.
Yeah.
They've obviously ran other buildings in Chicago, like the Wind Trust. They've done a couple of times, and have they done the Allstate? I can't remember.
I feel like they might have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, like as like a signature building for like massive big events like this and the CM Punk debut. Yeah, why the hell not? Chicago has become a base for them. You're absolutely right. I would like to see them make like Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe. I'd like to see that become a destination as well. But yeah, let's go. Like, it's a historic venue with all the Chicago Bulls history and all of that. They obviously have the biggest Chicago wrestling star of all time. CM Punk's there as well. Is there a bigger Chicago wrestling star? Maybe there is. Maybe I'm being a dope. But yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Here's a crazy idea as well. Why don't they do a show in the UK? Please. You were going to do it for like Fyter Fest 2 years ago.
Craven Cottage.
Come on. Come on,
Tony. What are you paying us for here?
Exactly. Fulham are back in the Premier League. You can have all that. Hey, do it whilst it lasts as well, because Fulham tend to, you know, me as a Chesterfield fan, poo-pooing Fulham Football Club, but I can only dream of it. Anyway, final question today comes from Eddie Zamhari, and apologies in advance for Andy's reaction and to Adam Nicholas editing this video. Eddie writes, hey guys, with WWE celebrating 20 years of the legendary career of Randy Orton, what's your favourite moment of his career?
Favorite moment of Randy Orton's career? Oh man, I don't know. The thing with Randy Orton is that I get flack for this take, right? But I think he's simultaneously the most underrated wrestler of all time and the most overrated.
Yeah.
Because people will tell you he's one of the greatest of all. Absolutely not. There's no argument for that whatsoever. Yeah. But at the same time, people will tell you he's an awful guy who's always really boring. And it's like, no, that's not true either.
No.
There have certainly been times where, like long periods where he has been quite dull. But the guy figured out very early in his career, hey, I don't need to be a more dynamic wrestler who puts his body on the line. I can do 7 moves really cool. I have great character. I'm going to focus on them, and occasionally I'm going to kill myself in a crazy hardcore match.
Yeah.
So like, I admire his approach to the business immensely. But as far as great moments, I don't really have a lot of them, because I don't think that for a guy who's been around for 20 years, his body of work isn't all that strong.
No, I mean he gets ringing endorsements from everyone who's been in the ring with him.
Yeah.
No one's ever turned around and said, "Ooh, dangerous."
Everyone loves working with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that doesn't really make more like incredible matches or anything, does
No.
it? Like, yeah, honest to goodness, my favourite Randy Orton match is the Mick Foley one really early in his career, which is sensational.
Which he put over, of course, on Raw last night.
He did, unlike a certain other person who should have put Mick Foley over recently. Or the Jeff Hardy match from a few years ago, I love that as well. So I'll go with those, but like, I have the utmost respect for this man and his approach to the business. I just don't think his body of work is that strong.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, and I think arguably he's doing some of his best work right now.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, he is.
I got the whole okay out of nowhere, but by that point when that first became like a thing, I was a bit like,
Yeah.
He'd done it all the time. They had your Seth Rollins one, your Evan Bourne one was great, the Jeff Hardy one. Like if I was going to do a top 3, they'd be up there, of course. And there was that. But then like the fact that last night in the main event, he was like, okay for you. Oh, one of you says he's going up on the turnbuckle. I was like, do the thing, Randy, and I'll pop for it. So, I mean, fair play to him.
Yeah, that stuff's over as hell.
I watched, me and Hamlet yesterday watched the 10 funniest moments of Randy Orton's career, and they are struggling for 10.
It's weird, isn't it?
20 years. Like, 3 of them with Riddle, so that's the last year, basically. One of them was him dancing to the New Day's music. I'll tell you what, do you know what my favourite moment of his career was, Eddie? This list has helped me with that, in fact. It's when he nearly killed both of the Singh brothers.
Like, he did that face.
When he drops them. The first one, actually, I watched it again. The first one's not that bad.
Yeah.
The second one, this other Singh brother, whichever one it was, sort of over-rotates. Not through his own power, because Randy just goes, up you go, and then he just lands, and everyone's like, yay! And even Randy's like, yeah, not sure about that one, guys.
The way he walked away from it, like he just committed a crime accidentally. Yeah, like it's weird how like because he's so funny in interviews and stuff. Like when you listen to him speak outside of wrestling, but then he gets on screen and they just present him as this, total respect for Randy Orton. Let me express that again. A lot of very good matches throughout his career. I couldn't point to one that I think's a classic.
No.
Like a proper
and you think
classic.
about like great builds, like the build to him and Trips at WrestleMania, what was it, 25?
Yeah, and then
the home invasion was great.
And then they screwed the whole thing up.
And then it was like, oh, here they go. Yeah. There's the whole thing. I do like that one shot that you may have seen where he's like looking all moody on the turnbuckle, and the light, the sort of shadow is over his eyes, and then whenever a flashbulb goes off, it lights his eyes up. That was nice as well. Yeah. Let us know if we missed something major.
Remember when he burned Sister Abigail's house?
Oh yeah, do you remember when he with some goo?
Remember the bugs?
Bug match.
Oh
yeah, the bug match.
Bug match.
Let us know in the comments your favourite moments of Randy Orton's career. We'll move on to today's and finally, and a massive shout out. I know we normally do this sort of stuff on Friday, but I want to give a shout out today to Elise Zaphos, I believe, on Twitter. Apologies if I butchered your name there. Who did this for us yesterday. We only saw it today, but it's us as the Fiend with the normal us behind us on this screen here. Excellent work, Andy.
Fiendception, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a fiend within a fiend. Tremendous.
She's got the top rope beer. She's got the WCPW belt on there. And most importantly, that's one especially for you, Elise. 3
times in the
Patrick,
video.
baby.
I quit.
There you go. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and on all of today's news stories in the comments section below.
I'm glad I'm not sitting next to you on the train on Thursday.
Oh, just you wait. Out you get, Ethel. I'll be sitting there today. Yeah, something special coming your way on Thursday. Let us know your thoughts on everything, though, in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE. Watch there, you can follow both of us. You can follow Andy Murray
at Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Loop.
Ooh. Not had that one for a while. You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCultureWWE. But for now, my thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.
No, we won.